Welcome to Ellis Mowers and More. On today's video, we are going to look at this Toro Z Master, where the customer almost bought an $1,100 transmission to put into this because it stopped working, and told him to bring it in. Wanted to get a look at it, and I think we're going to save him a whole lot of money. I'll show you why here on this video coming up. So let's look at this Z Master here. It is a 52-inch cut and not too old terribly. 19 horsepower Kawasaki. It's got 300 hours on it, and the guy said he heard a pop, and then one of the sides just stopped moving when it got here after he dropped it off. Neither side moved, so I knew something was going on then. He called me and asked if I would be able to put a transmission in one of these, and I'm like, bring it over here, because something tells me that it's probably not the transmission. Now, I can see what they did here with the reservoir is that they overfilled the reservoir, or you don't fill it to the brim here. It's the top of the baffle, because you got to have a little bit of room for it to breathe because the transmissions get hot. And so what it has done is it's leaked all down here, and it's been leaking on the ground. But when I get under here, I'm going to jack it up and show you that the belt is loose, and I think the tension spring just popped off of it. So hopefully it's just, worst case we have to buy a spring. Best case we just have to put it back on and he's ready to go for like nothing, as opposed to $1,100. But again, just give your stuff a second look if you're not sure. Have an extra set of eyes. It doesn't take much to have somebody look at it for you, I'm going to get this jacked up, show you what's going on with it, and we're going to see if we can fix it here, hopefully with very minimal effort to get him back going again. Now, before we get started, I do want to show you the model number and also how to disengage the transmissions on these, especially if you need to roll them for some reason. This is a 74410 Toro. And then we have the transmissions. These are the ones that actually have the separate, or the reservoir, more of like the heavier duty residential / light commercial type transmissions here. This is the nut. You just have to open it up with adjustable wrench. I think it's a 5/8. That's the other one right there. And then whenever you are done rolling it around, just close up the nut. It seals the system back, and you can use it and drive it like you need to again. Okay, so I've got the mower jacked up on stands here so I can get down here a little bit better. And I want to show you what has happened. Got a light down here. Hopefully you can see. So that belt up top there is the transmission belt. And what it has done on the left hydro is it has gotten over the pulley. So I don't know how it did that. I guess sometimes it'll slip. I'm going to check the belt, but there's the tensioner spring and everything right there. So in theory, I think I can take the tensioner spring off, and it kind of looks like I've got to attack it from the front whenever I put it on. So because it's as far back as it can go now, and there's really no good way to get that belt back on. I hope this is good. The zoom's a little bit far, but in order to get that belt back on really without taking this spring off. So it's a little bit tight down here. I don't know what all y'all can see, but I'm gonna try to take this spring off right here. And I'm going to get some, because what happens is the spring will go over, let's see, it won't be touching the pulley here. So I've got to get some pull rope and pull this spring off here. Hopefully I've got enough leverage to be able to do that down here for the time being. So let's see, like I said, a little bit of pull rope. We're going to slide it in right there. Pull it let's see, this spring is very very tight. Let me make sure that there's no, like, there isn't, I don't think. Oh man. So let's see if I can do this. So I've got, like I said, I've got to figure out how to get the spring off. Once I do that, I'll let you know what I did, and then after that, what we will do is get this pulley back on, the top pulley here. I know y'all can't see hardly any of it, but we'll get that pulley back on, or that belt back on that pulley right there, and we should be back in business. So let me go ahead and see what I can do here to take care of this belt issue. Alright guys, let's venture back down. I got it back on. I want to show you what all I did to do that. It wasn't all that bad. The worst part about it, and there is a remedy to this if you need to do this, is that that belt was actually above the pulley there, and it kind of wedges up against that frame right there, right? So the belt, all in all, doesn't look too bad. It's got just a very, very small dry rot cracks on the inside of it. I would recommend that he changes it out soon. Probably, you know, next service, unless it jumps off again, and then we'll address it. But I think that may have been a one-off situation. I'm going to check that pulley right there to make sure there's nothing wedged in between it as well. But get it around that pulley to the drive pulley for the crankshaft, and then through the tensioner pulley. Now I did all the pulleys except for the one on the right side, and then I was able to use the leverage of this and pulled it with my hand, and then was able to get the belt around there to tighten everything up, and got it back on. So I'm going to crank everything up, and I'm going to hopefully show you that the transmissions are turning again, and this guy is not going to have to pay an arm and a leg in order to get this back going again. Alright, so let's crank this up. Also drained some of the hydro fluid out from where they had overfilled it, and it had leaked. It had been leaking all out everywhere. So hopefully that has going to resolve itself as well. That stuff just gets everywhere. But anyways, all right, out, park brake should start. Look down here. I'll show you the alignment on the blades, or the belt here in just a second as well. But whoops, I gotta lay the seat all the way down. There we go. There we go, guys. One thing I want to show you underneath very quickly is that those guides underneath here, right? You see that little adjustment nut on them, so they can slide up and down that shaft if needed, if need be. Now, if you see if there's an alignment issue or anything with any of them, which these don't appear to really have an alignment issue, they're about the same distance on the shaft from what I can tell. Like I said, it could have just been something got caught up in them, like a gumball. As you can see, there's a gumball right there, so it's very possible that that happened, especially this time of year. You can also adjust these if you are continuously throwing belts. But like I said, I think this was a one-off, probably because something got caught in that left one or somewhere in the drive belt. Whenever I look down here, the drive belt's not flapping back and forth or anything like that. So I'm going to get this thing back on the ground. We're going to drive it around and hopefully be done with this and save this man a whole bunch of money, because I kind of figured that he didn't need any hydros with 380 hours with this mower decently being taken care of. Alright, so I closed those little nuts back up, and I'm going to see if this thing will run now. Hopefully so. Or drive around like it's supposed to. Park brake. Alright. One of the tires is a little flat. That's why I could walk it like that. It's kind of weird, but yeah, so we're driving good again. I'll drive it up and down after I get this tire inflated on the right side again. And hopefully, like I said, we'll be in good shape for the owner. I'll let him know it's ready to go and that he's probably saved himself about $1,000. So win-win all around for everybody. Well, I got it loaded back on the trailer, ready to send him back to him. He's very happy with the result, obviously. I'm glad it was just something simple. If we continue having an issue with the belt jumping off, like I said, I think it was just because a foreign object may have gotten up in there, knowing that I saw a gumball up in there. Those gumballs can be pesky sometimes, so I'm thinking that's the case. I'm glad he didn't just go buy transmission. I was like, look, bring it to me. I'll give it a look for you. We'll see, you know, what the diagnosis is. Turns out we're, you know, just about slipped off. Got it fixed. 15 minutes, he's back going again. So, you know, lesson, and if there's any lessons here, you know, if you don't know what's going on with your mower, contact someone who either works on them or somebody that you can trust that can give you a good diagnosis. Because a shop could just, you know, if they're not a good shop, they can just jump on that and really, you know, screw you over if you're not careful. So, again, got it fixed for him, and he's very happy because he's only out a few dollars instead of $1,100, right? So that's good. In other words, you know, don't jump to conclusions. Check everything. His mobility's not very good, so it, you know, brought it to me, and we got it all fixed for him. So if y'all need any assistance or anything, at least it shows you the drop belt set up on these Toros that are this model, and hopefully this helps you out as well if you have drive issues on these. Thank y'all again very much for watching this video. Hopefully y'all found it helpful. I'll catch y'all on the next one.